All right, loyal listeners, welcome to another episode of Agency Intelligence Podcast. I am here with Dana Coates, and we are here for the executive sessions. We're actually live in the NetView neighborhood here at Accelerate, the users group for the Big Orange, baby. That's right. That's what we call them. I know. Pretty soon, Dana, I'm going to get them to where they're going to have Big Orange. It's going to be like written on the walls and stuff. But I asked John about it. John, he just said, yeah, Cass, we'll get that going. He's being nice. He's being nice. Okay. Anyways, but here we are with the executive sessions. You guys know what it's about. It's about humanizing people that we want to be like. We try to sit around. We try to wonder, what is success like? How do we build success? What's some stories that we want to hear from? And, you know, Jim Rohn said it best. He said that he would not advise you to take any advice from someone who has a smaller W-2 than you. Now, he's not being so so shallow that he would put money as being the most obvious thing that you would judge somebody on. But you got to admit a little bit, right? You're probably not going to really take a whole lot of business advice from a guy who flips French fries, right? I mean, he's got some stuff to teach us in life, but maybe not so much about where we're trying to get if we're trying to become successful in a service industry where people rely on us. So we have to provide customer experience and a good customer service. We need to be able to have a great culture. We need to be able to train other other leaders by the way that we were trained by our mentors and leaders. And that's what this is about. Dana, I appreciate you taking your time joining us, buddy.
Thank you for inviting me. And
right.
if one of the values that we do here is, determining how big the goose eggs are, how much money, how many zeros there are at the end of everything. I get paid zero.
Yeah.
I get paid zero. So I'm here happily to support you in this this endeavor.
We'll see, for all of you that are wanting to become successful like him, just look forward to the fact you make no money.
That's right.
Okay?
That's it. Yeah.
Oh gosh, that's great. So a lot of you guys don't know, and that's cool, as the Agency Intelligence Mastermind that we have, Dana's a part of that. We share ideas, we meet 2 times a month. We have a great discussion. I have to admit, I know you're even quiet on our meetings. You usually only type in, you're your guy that you are. So for you to come and do this, I greatly appreciate it. And it's not necessarily about how cool, as we talked about, how hip you are in the new stuff. We want to know it's about the old stuff. Right? It's about the stuff that's brought you literally to who you are and where you are. So Dana, can tell them like in 30 seconds who you are and what you do today.
Who I am and what I do today.
Right.
I am an advisor to an insurance agency that has offices in California, Tennessee, and Idaho. And I'm the old guy. And theoretically, when people need some feedback, they may reach out to me. I'm available.
So without going there, had the agency in Seattle, Washington, built it out a little bit, whatever that is. Kids decided to move to Tennessee. You decided, I'm going where my grandkids are.
Absolutely.
Started a new location kind of out there and stuff.
We actually reincorporated out there. And the purpose of that reincorporation was to actually get the younger guys that are involved in our company to have a piece of the cheese.
Mm-hmm.
And so my wife divested a portion of her portion of the business and brought in these 2 young guys. Wow. Who are going to lead the organization into the future.
And these, if I'm correct, they're family, actually.
Well, one of them is family.
One of them is.
And that's Josh Acosta. The other is Eric Sherding. He's been with us for 15 years. He's an absolutely amazing guy.
Josh he's your son-in-law.
Son-in-law,
And
right.
he's also, they're big in the church there.
Yes, that's correct.
That's unbelievable. We won't go there, but that's a great story. I spoke with all you loyal listeners 2 weeks ago. Dana and I spent some time in Monterey and got to know a lot of side. That's why I was so glad whenever I got it. Now here's the thing, Dana, this is cool to know, okay? This is cool to know. When I asked John, I said, John, give me the attendee list so I can look and see who's on the list, and I'll call the executives. He said, Cass, I can't give you the list. That's not what we do. I said, okay, John. I thought I'd ask. I said, okay.
Gotta ask.
And I gotta ask. And so he says, but here, let me look at, what are you looking for? And I said, this is what I'm looking for. He sends me a list of about 18 to 19 names gives me a little bit of information about them, and I'm thinking to myself, like, great, now I have to go look up all these 19 people. And then I thought, wait a minute, no. I copied them, went over to chat, pasted them right into chat. And I said, chat, this is who I'm looking for in the type of executives that we're doing. And you have to also keep in mind, when it replied back to me and said, I know what you're talking about because it's been helping me make the questions for all of these.
Yeah.
It came back with 8 people, and you were one of them.
Oh, that's nice. But actually, weren't you talking to Scooter?
I was actually. I was talking to Scooter. That's actually true. And they know who Scooter is. But yes, I was talking to Scooter. But Scooter was able to go out and do all that. But think of that. Like how long it would have taken me to literally go out, read your guys' bio, and you know that he found a lot more stuff than I did.
Yeah.
Right? And then
amazing.
And then to be able to take what I said and say, these are the ones. And so I actually felt like, wow, these are probably 8 people that I really want to talk to.
Yeah.
And so far, you're the last one. Every one of them have just been dynamic. They all have their own little story.
Yeah.
And what was amazing too is every one of the people, they've said to me, they're like, wow, I've never had so many questions that were directly related to who I am. And that's why I tell them all, I'm like, I didn't do the research, Chad did. And then when they said these 8, I said, okay, you write the questions. And then it wrote the questions. And I'm like, that's why I sent it to John. I said, John, make sure they check the questions to, that's really them, right? Someone's like, Jason, it says here I own a bar. I don't own a bar. No, but none of that happened. So.
And it's really amazing that technology that we are all beginning to adopt in our agencies is just so powerful.
And just even not in our agencies, in our lives, in society, in healthcare, in everything. It's an exciting time to be alive. I'll definitely see that. So when we are talking about, you're trying to have these 2 guys, people, in your office have a piece of the cheese, as you said.
Yep.
What's important to you, and when you're watching them and you're watching them go through their day, what are you looking for? Where are you looking to give advice? What are some of the things maybe you could help us understand more of what your day is?
Well, okay. Well, I'd like to clarify that for me, one of the hardest things for me to do is to not do it. Okay, so like if I've been the driving force of the organization for all these years, and I'm trying to help the next generation take over, I have to restrain myself, right? And I think that this is something that a lot of older guys like myself struggle with, is not doing the work for the rest of the people and allowing people to scrape their knuckles and have accidents and run into walls, because unless they experience those things like we did, like I did, there's no way for them to really learn. And I mean, I could try to teach them and have them not experience all of that pain, but you know what? You learn fast from pain. You know, you put your hand into a hot, scalding thing of water, and you only do it once or twice.
That's true.
So,
doesn't take long to learn.
So my job is really to try to restrain myself and allow them to take their ideas and run with them. I mean, I have confidence in them. I've been working with them for a while, so I have confidence, and so my job is to not do anything.
Do you regularly meet with them?
Yes.
Okay. What's that look like? How often?
Well, probably formally once a week.
Okay.
And informally several times a week.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And are you guys talking about accounts, or are you talking more about operations?
We're mostly talking about operations.
And are they giving you thoughts and then they're getting feedback from you? Or
Yeah, a lot of times they're saying, here's the set of circumstances, and they're either coming to me and saying, this is what we think we should do, or I'm saying to them, what do you think you should do? And generally, it's me trying to communicate that concept to them. Don't come to me with questions. Come to me with a direction or with answers, and let me kind of give it my thoughts. And if I have kind of a concern about something, then I'll voice it. And that's the nice thing about these relationships, is that I can voice it. They don't take it like I'm trying to knock them down.
Right. That's important.
Yeah.
That's important. Yeah. And I got to just tell you, I'll be there one day, and I'm not in a hurry for it, Dana. I understand how appreciative life is. But I'm starting to get to the point in time where I've put so many smart people in the same room, and it's just kind of about, in a meeting, staying in the meeting, but slowly bringing yourself. You're kind of like Homer Simpson going into the bush, you know, kind of blocking away. But it's just allowing, and it's sitting there. And me and Travis, as owners, we will sit behind the scenes as these meetings are happening, 10, 12, 14 people, and I'll be hitting him on Teams going, is this not amazing?
Yeah.
Right? And he's like, and he'll say, man, all we did was hire the right ones. We just got to stay the hell out of the way, right?
Yeah, right.
And they have no idea that, like, we're amazed by how much more they know than probably us. And they have no idea that we're out here, and they're probably thinking, oh, the boss doesn't think anything about me. And we're like, we're blown away.
Yeah.
You know, and it's helping them know that and challenging them. And what do you think about some of that?
Well, you run a pretty big organization, and so I really look up to people like you, who I can learn from. And I think that you're right. I sit there when I'm listening to the guys talk, or to when they're leading a group discussion of some kind. I'm always taking stuff away, and I realize that, you know, you would think that since I've got 2 feet out the door, that I don't need to be learning things. Right. But I love learning.
Yeah, you told me that in Monterey.
You know?
You said, Jason, I'm always still learning.
Yeah.
And that's so awesome.
And I think both of them are also, that's a real tribute to them, and really to several people on our team, is that they're constantly interested in learning new things, which is, if we didn't have people that were interested in learning and developing, I mean, things are moving so fast in our industry. You've got to have a learning mindset and an open mindset.
Now, 100% don't really care if they're listening. Do you think they fully understand how great this industry is and how different their life is going to be because of it? Do you think they understand, but do they not fully understand?
I really do think that they. I really do think. Yeah.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
I think that they get it,
because it's awesome.
Yeah.
You know, this is a pretty damn good life.
It's an amazing life.
This
has allowed my wife and me to travel the globe, you know, and raise a family and do it, you know, with our own style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I think that's great, because I think my son's not there yet. My son loves the business. He's very successful at it. He's doing very good. But you could just tell to him, it's like, wow, this pays good if I hit a big account, right? And he's like, yeah, Dad's excited about it. I like the team. We're doing good. And it's like, I can't wait for the day. I don't know if it'll be a year from now or 10 years from now, and that's okay. But I can't wait from the day for it to be like that. Wow.
Yeah.
Like I remember, Dana, like it was yesterday. But I was about probably 3-4 weeks in the business.
Yeah.
And I remember I had this call with this customer that was absolutely unbelievable. Mm-hmm. She told me that she thought that I knew more about insurance than she had ever talked to anybody, and this was my 4th week. And when I was answering the phone, because that's what my job was, you know how it is, there's only 10 questions.
Yeah,
so after the end of the week, you pretty much got all the questions. So I learned these questions and answers, and I was giving this lady, and she just gave me this like raving review. She made me feel so good as a 23-year-old. I got up, I went to the bathroom, I went into the sink area, and I looked right in the mirror, and I said, wow, you're gonna make a lot of money in your lifetime, you know? And at that point, as a 23-year-old trying to raise a 2-year-old, that's what was the only thing important in my life, right? Yep. You know, I wouldn't have said that today. I would have said, wow, I'm gonna have a pretty rich experience life, but I'll never forget that.
Yeah.
It burnt it into me.
Wasn't that a fantastic experience to have, where someone validated you?
Yes.
And you were able to look in the mirror and say, This feels good.
Right, it feels
Yeah.
good. And I've got a 2-year-old at home that, like, literally, I was hired on Christmas Eve. And when I was hired on Christmas Eve. And a lot of people don't know, 9/11 happened. I lost my job. I was doing some sales work. Listen to my father-in-law. He told me from day one, he said, you should be in insurance. I told him I'll never be in insurance a day in my life. Then after 9/11, I was like, you know what, I might want to listen to my father-in-law. He retired from this. He's pretty good at this. And I went and got my life and health license. No one would hire me.
Yeah.
I passed it myself. No one would hire me. And the reason they wouldn't hire me is because I didn't have any experience. This guy by the name of Mike Beard, I call him on Christmas Eve. It's snowing so hard outside, and I'm calling through the phone book just trying. I have no presents under the tree. I have a 2-year-old and literally no presents under the tree.
You're desperate.
I'm desperate.
Yeah.
And he says, I'll tell you what, I'm leaving here at noon. It's around 9:30 in the morning. He said, but if you get here before noon, he says, I'll talk to you. It's a 30-minute drive. It took me 2 hours and 45 minutes to get there because it was snowing so hard.
Wow.
I walk in there, I sit down and start talking to him. He says, hey, listen, you're gonna be broke and dead in the water in 1 month. You don't know anything about life insurance. You don't know anything about health insurance. You're licensed in it, but you don't know. And he was like, you're gonna be in trouble. Come answer my phone. I'll teach you commercial insurance. When I go out to do commercial, I'll take you with me. You help my wife do personal lines.
What a blessing that guy was.
And he says, I'll offer you $8 an hour. I jumped up and I said, I'll take it.
Yeah.
He's my main mentor to this day. We hang
Way
out.
to go, man.
We hang out all the time.
Oh my
And he
gosh,
always
that's a
jokes
great
when I
story.
tell this story right now. You know what he says to me? He says, Jason, I would have went to $12 an hour, but you jumped at 8. I said, Mike, I was broke.
That's
My
great.
son didn't have any presents
Yeah.
under the tree, you know. And so, I remember that, you know, and I remember those types of things, and it makes me get excited for those people, right? So I just love that. I don't know where that story came from.
Great
It's supposed to be about you, not me.
That's a great story.
Yes.
No, I'm glad you shared that story because we all have moments, but we don't all have moments like that.
Right.
Some of them are very negative, you know.
Yeah.
But how do we resilience? How do we recover from those more challenging moments?
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? That was a great moment for you. But you experienced a few tough moments too, didn't you?
Oh yeah, I did.
But you had to pick yourself up and keep moving forward,
That's right.
And I think that whole concept of resilience and picking yourself up and keep the forward momentum going, that's something that I think a leader can really instill in the people that they lead.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
And I think that that's something that you do really well.
Oh,
and I
wow. Well, that's
compliment
nice.
you for
Thank
that.
you. You know, I want to continue on something, but thank you very much for that. But I want to tell you this. Mike Beard is his name. His #1 mentor. I've done a podcast called The Greatest Mentor Ever. And what's crazy is if you ask him, he says, I didn't know how to mentor you. I just told you to do stuff.
Yeah.
And he always tells me this. He said, Jason, you had the audacity to do what I asked you to do.
Oh, wow.
He said, so many people that I have trained would never do what I asked them to do.
Yeah.
But you had the audacity to do what I asked you to do. So here's the deal.
That's awesome.
2 years later, the agency that I had wanted to go work for, that was 4 blocks down the road from me, that would never talk to me or anything.
How many years later?
No, so this is in 2001. Well, before I go talk to him,
Yeah.
I'm talking to this other agency. They won't give me the time of day.
Time of day.
I
Okay.
get hired by
Yeah.
Mike.
Right.
For the next 2 years, while Mike's teaching me commercial, I'm taking a lot of these guys' book.
Yeah.
They called me up and they said, hey, we want you to come work for us. I said, man, you didn't want me 3 years ago, or 2.5. I said, now I'm actually making money.
Yeah.
You know? And they said to me, whatever you're making, we'll match it. Whatever your commissions are, it'll be more. And to them, now looking back, it was to them, I mean, I'm taking their book out
Yeah.
from underneath them. So I decided to take it. And I have to go back to Mike. And I have to sit in front of him. And I owed this man everything. And my wall separated from his wall, and I could hear when he got off the phone. And I went in there and I said, Mike, I said, I need to talk to you. And he said, all right, sit down, you know, always open door, greatest guy. I mean, we boat together. We go to the Elks and have beers every once. So I mean, he's 60-year-old and I was a 30-year-old, and we just got along. And I sat down to him and I said, Mike, I said, you know about the insurance partnership and da-da-da-da, and he goes, yeah. I said, Mike, they've asked me to come work for them, and I said, and I think I'm going to take it. And I said, Mike,
wait, time out. Let me tell you what I think he said. Can I?
Come on.
I think he said, I think that he fully supported your doing that. I think he fully supported.
Yes, he did. That's how you know he's a great leader.
That's exactly
Let me tell you, this is the story, though. He says to me, he says, Jason, he says, I tell him, and the first thing he comes back to me is he says, I want you to do one thing for me. I said, what? He said, do not be concerned about what me or Sharon think of this. You have to do what's best for you and your family. And I sat there and I had sweated this conversation for like 3 days, you know? And I sat there and I was like, Mike, I was like, that means everything. And he said, and I'm going to tell you another thing. He said, Jason, I know the talent you have. I'm going to allow you to take your book of business with you.
Wow.
Under one condition. If you ever walk in on an account and you see that I'm on that account, you turn around and walk back out. That's our agreement. I said, Mike, I swear to God, because now I knew that they were going to pay me and now I could move the book. This was going to be good, right?
Yeah.
And we went over there. I started absolute killing it. He let me go. It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's not done. And I was probably 8 months into this new place. I'm 31. The second youngest producer in there is 65 and the oldest is 85. They're all right up there, right? I'm the dude that's just pumping them stuff, okay? And I went to the owner and he said, Jason, you're overworking our staff so much on commercial lines. They're not used to this. Like, we're gonna have to hire you somebody else. And I said, there's a lady that taught me workers' comp, taught me insurance. Her name is Lorna Monroe. And she worked with Mike. Mike hired her right after she hired me, and Mike said, you teach him insurance. So Mike and her had taught me insurance. And me and this lady wrote millions of dollars of premium. So I told the owner, I said, if you want me to write more, I need Lorna.
Yeah.
And he said, how much you think? I said, I don't know how much it is. It doesn't matter how much. I'm going to Mike.
Yeah.
So I go back to him, and I sit down in front of him, and I said, Mike, I know you let me go. You're great to let me bring my book. I need you to release Lorna. I said, I need you to release Lorna. She's got to come with me. And he's like, don't go after my book. And he's like, I'm gonna be honest with you, Jason, I probably got about another 4 or 5 years. And he's like, I'm gonna have to do something with her anyways because she's gonna want to stay on. I was blown away.
Yeah.
I went back over to my agency owner and he said, you're allowed to call her. We called her, brought her over, and we wrote so much freaking business, it was remarkable. This is the type of man this guy is, right? Yeah. Now, some people would say he's a terrible businessman, but I think he did pretty well for himself, right? Yeah. And it's not even about the amount of money he made. He's well loved in his community. He's a fantastic person. I ended up, when he sold his agency, I went ahead and hired his daughter, and now his daughter is my senior commercial lines manager. And even if she was terrible, she's not. But even if she was terrible, I'd never fire her because she's just Mike's daughter, you know, and she does fantastic for us. But
what a story! That's amazing. That's such an amazing story about great leadership.
Yep. A podcast for any of you loyal listeners. I did this back in 2015, 2016, and it's called The Greatest Mentor Ever. And I actually bring Mike on, and we go through all of these stories and everything. So that's cool. I haven't thought about it in so long.
I'm looking forward to watching that.
Yeah, he's a great guy. So him and I actually we're going to be on the boat like in about 3 weeks. He's a big boater. I'm a big boater, so we get together. We like to sit around and drink our beer, so we sit out.
Big boats, little boats?
No, like about a 25-foot, 28-foot pontoons.
Nice.
And we just go park out in the middle of the lake.
Yeah.
We throw the anchor in. We sit there and drink beer and just talk about the times. And
that's great.
He can't believe how fast this industry's because he left in 2010, 2012.
Yeah.
So he just can't even believe it when, he was hard getting out of the manual.
Right.
Right. It was just coming out with the Pro Rater on Progressive you know, when so it was interesting. So Dana, hobbies. You got any hobbies?
Yeah, I like to travel. I love to travel.
You do?
Yes.
Yeah, I know that about
I
you.
like to drive cars. I enjoy cars.
Do you have cars?
I have a couple of cars.
What do you got?
Just a couple of cars, 4 wheels on them, you know.
Okay. All right. Okay. Enough said. And then I want to ask you this about leadership as we kind of wrap up towards the end of this. This is went directions I haven't planned, so that I knew it'd be this way, Dan. When we're looking at leaders, when we're looking at having mentors, when we're looking at, we know that reflects on who we are as a leader today, right? Based on all these things that we may know of these people. I want you to picture in your head 1, 2, or 3 mentors, okay? That meant a lot to you.
Yeah.
I want you to narrow it down to 1.
Okay.
Okay, you got it?
Got it.
Why?
Because he trusted me, and he opened doors for me that were risky for him. It was risky for him.
Okay. It was risky for him, and he believed in you.
And he believed in me. Yeah.
Loyal listeners, you probably realize what I'm realizing right now, that this is the one common question that I ask everybody. And every person has a different reason for why the mentor is them. This is unbelievable. I never thought I would get this out of this. And if you've been listening to these loyal listeners, you know what I'm talking about. No one I've interviewed in 20 some executives has told me that I did that because they believed in me. I've heard other things. They made me see things in myself and do things that I never thought I could do. That's one of them. They listen to me when no one else will. That's one of them. I hear these things, right? But no one's ever specifically said that. And that's got to be a beautiful feeling. I imagine at that point in time, did you feel like not many people believed in you?
Yes.
So it was instrumental at that time. It was like at the right time.
Absolutely. Right time. Was the right time. Yep.
Wow. Out of all your mentors and stuff that you have in your head, would you say, and this may take you a second to think about, would you say there's commonality between them that you realize attracts you to a certain type of leader or mentor?
Man,
I know I didn't give that to you heads up because I'm just thinking of that now.
That's a good question. Common denominators for the people that I was attracted to as leaders in my career. Yeah, let me see if I could put my finger on it here. Stretching me.
Stretching you.
Drawing more out of me than I thought I had.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. That's it.
Yeah, and that's so great. That is so great.
It's sort of like throwing the kid in the deep end, you know?
Yeah.
And swimming.
It is. I just love the fact that we have people that care about other people.
Yeah.
It makes this world so much a better place.
Yeah.
It really, truly does. Upon doing the executive sessions, one of the reasons why I wanted to do this was in November, I was having some drinks with some fairly large executives, and I realized how human they were.
Yeah.
Right? And I realized that because of them being so human, I wanted to leverage my relationship with people so that they can see that these people are human. And I think you've done that very well. One of the things that we don't realize though, when we're trying to put somebody in, let me see how I can say this. When you're going to make somebody a human, it was about, I remember, it was around December, second or third week in December, about 3 weeks after I had this initial thought, that the CEO of United Healthcare was gunned down.
Yeah.
And I looked right at my wife and I said, I got to do these executive sessions. We got to humanize these people. For somebody to take somebody's life and for a part of our society to think that that person's a hero shows me we are going in a completely wrong direction at one point in our society.
It's
right?
pretty scary when you think about it.
Pretty scary.
Yep.
And that's the point of the executive sessions.
Yeah.
And you have just illustrated it perfectly, and I definitely agree with you. I think all the loyal listeners got a lot out of it. As we wrap up, any last thing you want to say?
Just keep doing what you're doing. You're a fantastic guy. You've broken down so many barriers for so many people, and the concept that you've had of humanizing leaders and executives who are a lot of times bigger than life,
Yeah.
Not me, but a lot of what I know what you're talking about.
Yes.
It's awesome that you're doing this, and I just really applaud you.
Thank you, Dana. Well, I
really
appreciate
do.
it. Thank you very much. All you loyal listeners, you know what I do because I do it for you. Tell me your thoughts and tell me your ideas, and I'm going to tell the world what you have to say. This has been Cass. He's Coates. We're out.